Welcome to all of you to this Mission Thursday, which is an offering of the Global Episcopal Mission Network, of which I'm the executive director. It's wonderful to have you here to talk about and hear about ministry in Tanzania. We have a number of guests who will be speaking, and we hope to have about 15 minutes for question and answer at the close of the gathering. Please mute yourself until you have a need to speak. And I think that's all that we need to cover at the moment. Hosting this webinar is Canon Robin Newman of the Diocese of New York. She is a canon, honorary canon of the Diocese of Central Tanganyika. She is chair of the Tanzania Task Force in the Diocese of New York and a member of their Global Mission Commission. So over to you, Robin, to open the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Titus. Let's open with prayer. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for gathering us together across continents, cultures, and time zones as one body in Christ. As we turn our hearts toward Tanzania, open our eyes to the beauty of your people, the strength of your church, and the work of your spirit. Open our hearts to the stories that will be shared, stories of faith, resilience, healing, inclusion, and hope. Bless all of our presenters and strengthen our ministries and relationships rooted in your love. May our time today deepen our connections with one another and our commitment to your mission in the world. All this we pray in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
So I'd like to welcome everyone who is here. I second Titus's welcome. It's just so great to see all of you. Today's Mission Thursday is going to give us a taste, just a little taste of Tanzania. It's a glimpse of a beautiful and vibrant country shaped by deep faith, rich cultures, extraordinary landscapes, and resilient communities. A few of our presenters are joining us from Tanzania, and they will be offering firsthand their perspectives on both the realities of poverty and food insecurity, and also the innovative ministries that are transforming lives through conservation agriculture, health initiatives, deaf ministry, and the empowerment of women in church leadership. Mission is never simply about projects or initiatives. It's about relationship, listening across cultures, learning from one another, and discovering together where the Holy Spirit is already at work. We're also joined today by partners from the United States and the United Kingdom, whose connections with Tanzania span many, many years, and they reflect the deep relationships that grow through shared ministry. Our presenters will help us better understand the priorities and ministries of the church in Tanzania and invite us into deeper partnership, prayer, and participation in God's work in the world. And as you listen, I encourage you to listen not only for information, but also for the invitations, for the ways Holy Scripture may be calling each one of us into greater connection, compassion, and engagement with the global church. Karabuni, welcome. It's my great pleasure to introduce our first presenter, the Right Reverend Dr. Dickson Chilangani, Bishop of the Diocese of Central Tanganyika, one of the largest dioceses in the Anglican Church of Tanzania. Bishop Dickson also serves as Chancellor of St. John's University and Dean of the Province of the Anglican Church of Tanzania, where he previously served as General Secretary. He has held numerous leadership and teaching roles, including being principal of Emsalato Theological College, Vicar General of the Diocese of Central Tanganyika, and lecturer at Jeonju University in South Korea, an external examiner of St. John's University of Tanzania. A theologian and scholar, he holds degrees from institutions in both Tanzania and England, including a PhD in theology from the University of Bristol. He has also served as one of the scholars appointed by the Archbishop of Canterbury to prepare Bible studies for the 2008 Lambeth Conference. Bishop Dickson has long valued companion relationships between the Diocese of Central Tanganyika and our partners throughout the world, recognizing the importance of shared mission and mutual mission across the Anglican Communion. Bishop Dixon, we are honored to welcome you today. So I will share his slides, and Bishop, please tell me when you would like me to advance them.
Thank you, Robin. It's really good to be part of this meeting, and thank you for your honor, and thank you for inviting me to take part. The Diocese of Central Tanganyika is located in Tanzania. And because for many years, the country has been a peaceful country until maybe last year when we had some challenges. Many people don't know where Tanzania is located, but in short, it is located in East Africa. The region is home to some of Africa's most remarkable natural features, including Kilimanjaro, which is the highest mountain in Africa, but also the Serengeti National Park and Ngorongoro Crater. About climate and livelihood, Dodoma is located also in a place which experiences semi-arid kind of climate, often with inadequate rainfall, which falls from December to April. Most people in the region, because of drought, they primarily grow millet, sorghum, and sunflower. Those are the main crops. The Diocese of Central Tanganyika is one of 28 dioceses in the Anglican Church of Tanzania. And I think Canon George will talk more about this, but by the end of this year, there will be 3 more new dioceses, which will make a total of 31 dioceses in the province. The Diocese of Central Tanganyika was established in 1927, and we will celebrate our centenary anniversary in November next year. So this diocese will be 100 years old by November, 1st of November next year. It is currently one of the largest. This diocese, as Robin has shared, is one of the largest, if not the largest, in the Anglican Communion, with the following characteristics. The diocese has a total number of 300 parishes under one bishop, 300 parishes, and 300 clergy or priests, and about 70 of them are women priests. Actually, this is the first diocese to ordain women in Tanzania since many years ago. Recently, a few other dioceses have begun to ordain women priests. And the diocese has a total number of 1,276 churches or congregations. And we estimate, we'll be doing a census, taking a census this year, but we estimate that we have about 700,000 members. The diocese has 3 major priorities. First, evangelism. The diocese is the mother diocese of 19 dioceses of the 28 dioceses in the country. And I would like to say that as far as church growth is concerned, in this country or in this diocese, church growth is in the hands of lay people. It grows not because we have wonderful priests, but because we have lay people who are open and committed to share the gospel with their neighbors. So evangelism is our priority. And since I became bishop in the year 2014, our emphasis has mainly been on what we call aggressive evangelism. And this emphasis is based on the book of Acts, chapter 17, where we read that in the city of Athens, Paul preached in the synagogue, but also in the marketplace, to philosophers, and at the Areopagus. Likewise, we preach the gospel in churches, in marketplaces, coach stations, and also to motorcycle taxi drivers, commonly known here as border drivers. For instance, in September 2025, last year, we dispatched a team of 500 priests, catechists, evangelists, and ordinary Christians to the Diocese of Rorya, which is about 800 kilometers north of Tanzania. In 4 days, we visited 3,697 households. And in those 4 days, we baptized 1,542 people. And we planted 10 new churches in that diocese. So this is just to confirm that evangelism is our priority and church growth is in the hands of ordinary Christians. Our second emphasis is on community development interventions. We are implementing this through our Diocesan Development Services Coordination, DSC, which is a registered development organization in partnership with organizations like Episcopal Relief and Development, ERD, Tear Fund Canada, Canadian Food Grains Bank, St. Paul's Church Richmond, which is in Virginia, St. Paul's Church Ivy, also in Virginia, St. Mary's Church Arlington in Virginia, but also the Diocese of New York. But also we work with charities, foundations, churches, and individuals in the UK and also in Australia. We execute 8 sectors, namely food security and climate resilience. And here we mainly focus on conservation agriculture, but also economic empowerment. We empower groups such as women groups with savings groups, but also community water supply and sanitations. We provide boreholes in villages, but also environmental creation care, gender empowerment, nutrition, church and community mobilization process, which we call CCMP, and institutional strengthening. We work in 54 villages within the diocese, but also we work in 3 other dioceses, namely the Diocese of Kondoa, the Diocese of Mpwapwa, and the Diocese of the Rift Valley. And finally, we focus on social services. Based on St. Paul's words to the Corinthians, if you read 2 Corinthians chapter 5:14, where Paul says, the love of Christ compels us. We provide education and health services to our people. In this diocese, we have 2 primary schools. We have a primary school for the blind, which was the first to start in the country. We have a secondary school. We have an international school. We have a vocational school for the deaf, and also a theological seminary. Pardon? Hello?
We hear you just fine, Bishop.
2 hospitals, a health center, and an Institute of Health Services. This is just to show how much we care for those groups who are marginalized, like the blind, the albinos, but also the deaf people. And I want to finish with a note of appreciation that for many years, the Diocese of New York has been our excellent partner in all our ministries, and especially in the ministry to the deaf and conservation agriculture. And I sincerely want to thank the Diocese of New York for their partnership. And particularly, I want to thank Canon Robin, who actually has been in the forefront to organize, but also to coordinate this partnership. But also I want to finish with the word karibu. In Tanzania, Robin used that word karibu, which means welcome. And we look forward to welcoming a group of people from New York who will be visiting us with Canon Robin sometime this year. So in short, that's what I wanted to share. And you are all welcome to visit us in Tanzania. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bishop. We really appreciate the presentation. And our next presentation will be about the health and medical services in the Diocese of Central Tanganyika that was prepared by Dr. Emmanuel Mringo, and who unfortunately could not be with us, but has very kindly asked Busela Yoga and Dr. Paul Range to step in for him, and we are very appreciative of your help. Dr. Emmanuel Mringo has been serving with the Diocese of Central Tanganyika for 22 years and is currently the medical officer in charge of the DCT Health Center. A dentist by profession, Dr. Mringo is especially passionate about helping people smile with confidence through his work in dental care. He speaks with particular pride about the high-quality services offered through the DCT Health Center, especially its dental ministry and patient care. Through clinics and community health programs, he and his colleagues offer healing that attends not only to physical needs, but also to dignity, compassion, and accompaniment. And so I'm very grateful for all the people who are stepping in for him today. And let me bring up the presentation, and I will be with you I will be sharing it with you in a minute. Let me just find it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Reverend, for giving me this chance. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening to you.
Okay. I am Dr. Porange from Diocese of Central Tanganyika, and today I'm representing the medical officer in charge, Dr. Emmanuel Mringo, who was unable to attend due to an urgent commitment. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share a brief presentation about the health services under Diocese of Central Tanganyika, commonly known as DCT. I hope everyone you hear me.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Okay. The diocese is committed to delivering affordable and quality healthcare services to the community, guided by the Christian compassion in the services. And DCT, we currently have 4 main health institutions. Firstly is Mvumi Hospital, which was established in 1928 by missionaries. It has grown into a 2050 bedded referral hospital, serving Dodoma and the Singida region and central zone as a whole. It is especially recognized for high care services. Second is the Ombolo Hospital, which started as a leprosy center around 1963 and later transformed into a general hospital. Today, provide outpatient and reproductive health services while continuing specialized leprosy screening and treatment. Third is Mackay House Medical Center, which was established around in 1957, and they provide medical, dental, and high care services. Due to limited space and increasing demand, diocese is planning to relocate into a modern polyclinic, which is our main focus now, so as we can improve our efficiency and expanding our services. We also have Mvumi Institute of Health Sciences, which train healthcare professionals in nursing, laboratory sciences, pharmacy, radiography, clinical medicine, and other fields. The institute emphasizes in professionalism, ethics, and services to underserved communities. However, our facilities continue to face several challenges, including limited specialized services, shortage of staff, aging infrastructure and equipment, and insufficient fundraising. So to address these challenges, this plan to strengthening infrastructure, procure modern equipment, recruit and train healthcare workers, expanding our outreach programs, and build the academic institutions program, and building a strong partnership with government, non-government organizations, and academic institutions. In conclusion, they still remain committed to improving healthcare services through innovation, education, community engagement, and compassionate of care. I would like to thank you very much for your attention and for engaging me in this meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And just one last point on this slide that you're seeing right now. This is the proposed McKay House Polyclinic, which will help with some of the it will be expanded services and improved service and accessibility. And so this is initiative that is being worked on at the moment to address some of these issues. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Liv.
You're welcome. And our next presenter is joining us from the United Kingdom, and that he is Brian Metcalf. Brian serves as honorary treasurer of the Tanzania Development Trust, a role he has held since 2019. In that capacity, he has supported projects throughout Tanzania, including several in the Diocese of Central Tanganyika. Together with his wife, Aileen, he volunteered in Kenya in 2009 and 10, and later served full-time in Tanzania in 2011, and again in 2014 and 2015, with many shorter visits both before and after that time. Now living in Lincoln in the United Kingdom, Brian also volunteers in church music ministry and with local food banks. Brian, thank you for joining us and for sharing about your work and experiences in Tanzania.
Okay, I've just started sharing my screen. Is that coming up?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
I'm just showing you first a picture of our local Anglican church in Lincoln. That's not Tanzania, as you might have guessed. So that is where I am. And I just need to get back to the pictures myself. Get rid of the Zoom screen. No, that's not it. Right, just bear with me while I get back onto the screen share. I think you can probably see the small versions of the pictures anyway.
Yes, we can see them very well.
Oh, we're going now. I think we've got a bit of a connection problem here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me Okay, so this is going to 2009 when my wife and I volunteered first in Africa in southern Kenya, Bura Station, which is on the line from the Voi in central Kenya down to the Tanzanian coast. And this was an orphanage, and here's some orphans. And the gentleman there is the first Bishop Dixon I met in East Africa. By strange coincidence. He had started an orphanage. We did several weeks there, finding that the orphans had disappeared during the day to their primary school about 5 kilometers away, walking. But he had started a high school for his older orphans, and we got to know a lot about African culture in a village with no electricity or water supply handy. Then off we went in 2010. We visited Dodoma. You've seen a picture of this already. This is going back, and unusually, very few cars to be seen, which is very different to what it is now in terms of. I see it's also had a coat of paint, I think, or something. While we were there in 2010. We visited the international school, Can Andre Marcus School, where my wife ended up volunteering in 2011. And I joined the organization Carpenters Kids. And some of you will be very familiar with this sort of picture, especially people connected to Mutikira. So this was the charity that where 50 children in about 130 parishes were sponsored to go to primary school. And one of my roles there was producing lots of pictures for the supporters, and there's always a favourite one list where the children just received their uniforms and are waving their soap sticks around to demonstrate. The welcome that Tanzanians give to visitors is fantastic, and that's just a quick shot of the sort of thing there. The whole villages will turn out during a visit. One of the problems that Carpenters Kids was having at the time, 2011, was that a lot of the children had completed primary school and were either qualified for secondary education, or if they didn't manage that, they were given some vocational training. And this, at Abiwa, one of the DCT sites, this is a picture of some of the girls who were learning tailoring and got their templates for shirts. And Abiwa comes back into the story later on. To 2014, Aline and I started 2 years at DCT Mvumi High School, secondary school, that was previously mentioned in Mvumi. And that was we've revisited there many times, and one of its main features was a unit for blind secondary students. And since we've been back in the UK, we have had a lot of goodwill and gifts of equipment and other items for the blind students who graduate from the Bagiri Primary School, previously mentioned. And here is a class of 6 formers with the blind students with some electronic brailing equipment, which has a great advantage over the traditional braillers, that it is silent. There's no clacking of the keyboard, which disturbs the rest of the students. There's a sponsorship program at DCT Mvumi Secondary School through a UK charity, sponsors about 100 to 200 children at the school. Which means that the brightest children in the village who can't afford it do get an education there. One of the jobs in Mvumi was to manage the sponsorship program, and this is a typical house of a potential sponsored student right out in the bush. Any visit produces crowds of people appear from nowhere, young children. So this young guy here was a blind student who was struggling to obviously get any support. along with his the head of the VI unit there, visually impaired unit, Ernest.
You have about a minute left, Brian.
Okay, speeding up. We've seen a picture of Mvumi Hospital. We visit there quite often on behalf of the Friends of Mvumi Hospital, which is another UK charity, and report back on how things are going. Then I became involved with the Tanzania Development Trust. Here's a picture of some men in suits. The trust is part of the Britain-Tanzania Society, which was founded by friends of first President Nyerere 50 years ago, notably involving Bishop Trevor Huddleston, well, later Archbishop, who was a great anti-apartheid campaigner back in the day. I'll keep moving. Tanzania Development Trust works in these regions, mostly in the western side of Tanzania, also a bit down here, and in the rural parts of Dodoma at the moment. And its turnover is about 250,000, about £250,000, of which half about is to support clean water projects, another third in education projects, and some small income generation projects, all managed by project managers in the UK with local representatives in Tanzania to look after the projects. And one of the recent projects has been supporting the Matambulu Deaf Vocational Centre with IT equipment. This is the sign language teacher demonstrating the signing for various pictures for the students. Here are some tailoring students working on with sewing machines and learning about dressmaking. And they also
summarize now,
woodwork, water supply. We've provided a borehole for the agricultural side. Hairdressing, very new development there for them. I'm sure Patrick will talk more about this. And also various boutique making with other people helping. Also, we've managed to raise funds for the primary children at Kigwe Primary School for the Deaf, which is a government school where DCT sponsor a number of students who are waving there in the picture with Patrick Mitonia, his head showing there. I'll leave it there then. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. Really appreciate it. And seeing those pictures were amazing. And we're going to continue now with another perspective on health ministry and community partnership in Tanzania. And we have with us Dr. Henry Ziegler, and we are pleased to welcome him. Dr. Ziegler is from Health Tanzania, which supports medical care and community health initiatives in the Dar es Salaam area. Dr. Ziegler has partnered with Tanzanian communities since 2005 through clinical and community-based programs focused on family medicine, maternal and newborn health, mental health, malaria prevention, and care for widows and orphans. He is president and co-founder of the Health Tanzania Foundation and has worked closely with Tanzanian partners to strengthen sustainable and community-oriented healthcare systems. Dr. Ziegler, welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here.
But I can bring up your presentation now.
Okay.
Just a word about Henry and his wife Priscilla. They were appointed missionaries of the Episcopal Church back in the early 2000s in Tanzania.
Okay, so I've got 20 minutes to talk, or sorry, 4 minutes to talk about 20 years. So I'm going to give you a brief overview, and then I'm going to have Robin go through a number of slides very quickly so you get the sense of things. What I'm trying to do is get people a sense of all the different variety of things we're involved in, which may encourage people. Also, all the wonderful things you can do in partnership and build together. My wife and Priscilla and I, again, have been 20 years in Tanzania, first as Tanzanian medical missionaries, and then through the Health Tanzania Foundation, a multi-faith-based program that we established in 2012. We work through Buguruni Anglican Health Center and through SEAT, a community mobilization program that we helped develop. We do not work directly because, again, what we are doing is working to improve the medical care, mobilize poor communities, assist needy Tanzanians such as the poor, widows, orphans, and their communities as they help themselves. We are walking in love with our partners. This is not a mission in the traditional we come to help you and give you support sense. It's located, as we heard, in Dar es Salaam, in poor rural urban communities and isolated coastal villages in the coastal region. We've had over 67,000 patients last year were served at less than $5 each, and 90% of that was from the local community support, not from international. They are now developing that Buguruni Health Center to become a comprehensive teaching facility, and it will be teaching family medicine doctors as part of our national movement towards family medicine. Over 90,000 community members have been trained to address violence, drugs, and AIDS. Hundreds of widows and orphans have been helped. Over a dozen widows groups are creating their own businesses. With the major medical university, Muhimbili, and the National Mental Health Institution, Murimbe, and regional government leaders, we are developing programs for community-oriented family medicine, mental health and wellness, violence, drugs and AIDS, and maternal and newborn death. We are now going to go through very quickly, because there's in 4 minutes, you don't have a lot of time, to give you just a sprinkling, and then if there's time at the end, I will elaborate a little more on some of them. Our superstar, basically, we seem to be going well. So we have basically proudly trained the people who are running the programs. These two started as nurses. Dr. Abando is now a major medical leader, MD, and Mr. Brewer has a master's in public health and is running the whole health system. Dr. Maxwell started as a first-level doctor. He's now basically doing surgery because he's been upgraded. He basically does the chronic disease lead. He does the AIDS lead. Dr. Chilawaka started as a first-level doctor, and he is now basically the head of the whole SEAT program, and has been doing some brilliant stuff. Got his master's from Macquarie in Scotland. The lady with him was 14 and had infected left leg, infected right ankle. They misdiagnosed her, so she spent, much time in the hospital, came to us with multiple infections, and we had her 3 months literally getting rid of the infection, and then got her to a surgeon in Arusha, who was able to hopefully save the leg, but was unable. So she has an upper leg amputation, and we've then given her a replacement leg, and she is doing wonderfully and has 3 children and doing well. St. Augustine Primary School.
Henry, that brings your time to an end, I think.
Oh, really? Already? Okay.
Thank you so much.
There's the things. The statement would be, what are you doing as partners walking in love together for Tanzania and other people around you? that every meeting is. What are you doing after it? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ziegler. And we will be sharing the presentations with the participants, and they will be available so people can get more information. And our next presenter is Patrick Matanya, who heads the Diocesan Deaf Ministry for the Diocese of Central Tanganyika in Dodoma. Patrick holds a diploma in special needs education. He began working with DCT's Deaf Ministry in 2016 as a translator and has continued to build and strengthen this important ministry of inclusion and advocacy. Patrick is fluent in Tanzanian Sign Language, Swahili, and English, and he brings a deep passion for serving people with special needs and helping ensure that the deaf are fully included in their communities, as well as in the worship and life of the church. His ministry is a powerful witness to the gospel's call to recognize and honor the gifts and dignity of every person. Patrick, thank you for joining us and for sharing about this important ministry.
Thank you so much, and thank you for welcoming me to be the part of this meeting. First of all, I'm Patrick Matonya, working at the head of Matumburu Deaf Ministry, or Deaf VTC, Vocation Training Center. I will go directly to the presentation. The Diocese of Central Tanganyika has several ministries. One among them is the Deaf Ministry, which was established in 2008 in the partnership with the Bethany Community Church, USA, with the aim of reaching the gospel news to the deaf people through sign language. And we faced some difficulties of delivering the gospel news to them as they had no language. I mean, they don't know how to sign and to understand each other. Then later on, we created the sponsorship with the Bethany Community Church, and we come up with an idea of sponsoring the deaf education at Kigwe Deaf School. Then after realizing that they graduate standard 7 and they have nowhere to go due to availability of one secondary school for the deaf in the country, so mostly after graduating their primary level, they go to their home areas, which is located in remote areas. So they have no other activities to do in their life. And then we come up with an idea of establishing the vocational training center for them, so that to acquire the skills for them to have the good life. Then we are teaching them sewing, carpentry, and welding. So we started at Ibiwa, then shifted to Matumburu as the special center for the deaf, because at Ibiwa we were at the part of the center due to the presence of Christianity education provision there and deaf. So now we are at Matumburu under the Diocese of New York sponsorship and Tanzania Development Trustee. So as we speak, we have 35 deaf learners at the center who are learning sewing, welding, carpentry, and then we added agriculture and hairdressing for the girls. Through this partnership we have, we managed to train many students, approximately 80 deaf students, graduates. They are now in several areas around the city and others outside Dodoma. So some of them are well employed already, and others are doing self-employment so that they can get money to run their life on their own. Let us come to the achievement we have, though I have mentioned some of them. We give them inclusive training, and then we promote sign language. We skilled graduates, self-employment, and food self-sufficient. So through provision of those skills means the students can have all the mentioned achievements from the center. Then we had some outcomes through this training. So an employment reduction, because deaf people, it's not easier for them to be employed with the people who are facing difficulty in communicating with them. So through providing those skills means they do employ themselves for further activities in their life. Then economic empowerment through giving them those skills and best livelihood in their life. Then we have sustainable development through agriculture and vocational skills. Then we have several challenges at Matumbulu as we speak. The big challenge for us is the infrastructure is not much friendly. Now we can accommodate few girls, though we have enough rooms, which is not yet renovated. Now we have 15 girls, whereby the capacity is 40 girls after renovating the dormitory, which is funded by TDP. TDP funded 5 rooms of the girls' dormitory to be refurbished. As we are doing now, we hope in July we will be recruiting 20 girls due to renovation of the hostel.
So
Then,
Patrick, Patrick, are you able to summarize now because the time is up? If you can just
Okay.
summarize.
Okay. So another one is capital, and then the other one is shortage of teaching and learning materials. So way forward is to expand the enrollment, scale agriculture, modernize facilities, and to have more partners. So call of action, we do invite donors or partners to cooperate with us so that we can transform the deaf youths in the country to reach their goals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And now we are going to hear from Joyce and Tom Smith, who are joining us from Spain. And Joyce and Tom are longtime parishioners, excuse me, at St. Paul's Church in Richmond, Virginia, and they've made 4 visits to Mwitikira Parish in Tanzania. Joyce has served in many capacities at St. Paul's, including as senior warden and chair of the Finance Committee. She currently is vice chair of the St. Paul's Endowment Board. Outside of St. Paul's, she is senior associate dean at the Robbins School of Business at the University of Richmond, professor of accounting, and a certified public accountant. Tom has twice served on the St. Paul's vestry, chaired the annual giving campaign, founded and chaired the Environmental Stewardship Committee, and is the current chair of the Global Missions Commission. Tom grew up on a small rural farm and is a retired conservation biologist. So Tom and Joyce, we thank you for being here with us today, and I will bring up your presentation.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
And Tom and Joyce were both at the recent Missio conference in San Francisco.
Enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it very much. Thank you. St. Paul's Richmond, our Global Missions Committee has been involved with the Diocese of Central Tanganyika, and great thanks to Father Erasto for his work there since 2007 with all kinds of projects, starting off with enabling AIDS orphans through the Carpenter's Kids program, providing clean drinking water, education, medical support, and hunger relief through sustainable agriculture and irrigation. And we have visited Dodoma and Waitakere every year since 2007, but for 2 years over COVID, and we'll be there again this July, the 9th through the 22nd. Next. Waitakere, depending on who's driving, is somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes or an hour and a half south of Dodoma. It's a village of about 4,200 people, extremely dry, arid place and with little rain, and just a shot of a typical home in Waitakere. Next. One of the individuals who's on the call here, Roger Whitfield, did a fantastic job developing a water system for the village, which is now completely operated by the village without any support from St. Paul's. We've done medical work. Last year, Dr. Joe James with St. Paul's, who's also here today, helped organize a medical clinic in Waitakere that saw 545 patients, and that'll be repeated again this year. Next.
Our educational system, there are 2 primary schools in Waitakere and a secondary school. Go ahead to the next one. We can go pretty fast through these. We've done student desks, teachers' desk at the primary schools. We've renovated classrooms. We've provided a water tank. Next one. The secondary school, it is a boarding school for 80 girls and about 50 young men. So we've been doing quite a bit of work there. And one of the things we're really pleased about is that we've been able to work with the Matambulu and Patrick and his group to have them prepare the female sanitary supplies as well as bunk beds so that they can build them and then send them to the school, the secondary school. You can go to the next one. We've done water tanks and mattresses. We're in the process of getting mattresses for the boys and girls dorm. So they're going to have beds and mattresses. We're very excited. What we really want to work on with the bishop, with Father Arasto, is on developing language skills within the village.
Next. And then finally, we've done a lot of work with food security and irrigation. We've had a fantastic individual, Musa Chilam, who has been in the village for a number of years on sustainable agriculture projects. Next. The village in 2019 identified the #1 priority as a small-scale irrigation project. And on our 3rd and final attempt, they struck water in December of 2024. Next. The villagers have really pitched in with sweat equity. They dug a trench and laid the pipe 1.3 miles from the borehole to the farm site in the village in 3 days. Just some shots of the water tower and some of the fields underway. Next. And finally, the irrigation project, they have completed their 2nd growing season, and they now have 6 acres under production. We've received great technical assistance from an Israeli-based group, Cultivate. Solar panels have been installed recently to power the pump, and they've got 150 farmers working in 15 groups. Part of the great news here is that only 1 person has dropped out since the beginning of the project. That's because she got married and moved out of the village. And they are just starting into growing season #3. So it's really been a great model with lots of visitation from neighboring villagers and farmers to see what's happening and the techniques that are being used by farmers throughout the village on their own property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joyce and Tom. You really did a great job of rushing through it, but we got a great feeling for everything that's going on. Thank you so much. And as we're concluding our presentations, we are going to go to the wider ministry and leadership of the Anglican Church of Tanzania. And our final speaker is Reverend Canon Dr. George Otieno Lowy. And I am pleased to introduce him. He is General Secretary of the Anglican Church of Tanzania, where he oversees the coordination of the national church across its 28 dioceses, soon to become 31. Canon George brings together pastoral leadership, academic scholarship, and practical mission experience. He holds a PhD in eco-theology and sustainability from the University of Leeds and has helped lead initiatives in church and community transformation, conflict transformations, and the empowerment of women and girls within the church. He is also a published scholar whose work explores eco-theology in the Tanzanian context and contributes to theological education in Tanzania. Ken and George, we are honored to welcome you and very grateful for your leadership. And I will bring up your presentation.
Thank you so much, Robin, and everyone on the floor. It is my great honor to be part of this gathering tonight, and I will be quite brief in terms of an overview of the work of the Anglican Church of Tanzania as far as it is concerned. So the Anglican Church of Tanzania is a national church that is comprised of local 28 dioceses, soon to be 31 in August. And this 28 dioceses is comprised also of over 2,640 parishes with a total number of 7,280. So in terms of the total number of our churches countrywide, by the end of last year, we had 7,280 in terms of total number. On the first photo, you can see, Robin, can you go back, please? Yes, you can see all our bishops together, led by the Archbishop Maimbo in the mitre. And if you look closely, you can even also spot Bishop Dixon, who is the dean, somewhere among those bishops. Next. The Anglican Church of Tanzania is also pursuing a number of national programs, including investment. And currently, we are putting up together our resources and mobilizing resources for the completion of our 5-story building, which is going to be the ACT Hotel Complex. And we are grateful that Bishop Dixon has offered to host that event next month, where we are also hoping to have the Prime Minister of Tanzania becoming the chief guest. And along with that, we have also been working to complement the work of our bishops. And Bishop Dixon has said, Diocese of Central Tanganyika was the first for the ordination of women in this country. Now that mission has gone to 14 dioceses out of 28 existing now, and we hope that the work will continue to grow. But when we came to the office, we realized that actually we have not been able to mobilize and network our female clergy across the dioceses so that they can know each other and network, as well as being able to share their experiences, passion, and hope. And so for the first time, we will be having the first national female clergy conference this year in August. And we are grateful for the efforts that have been put toward that initiative so far. We have had some resources confirmed from partners, and we are grateful that we will be having friends and partners from the US and UK, Kenya, and Tanzania, who will also be joining us for that first ever national conference for female clergy in this country. And that gathering will actually bring together over 200 female clergy from all 14 dioceses. We've also had requests from other member churches like Evangelical Lutheran Church of Tanzania, Mennonite, Moravian. They've also sent their request for their female clergy to be allowed to come and join our female clergy during that conference, so that they can also have an opportunity to learn from what we will be having during those 5 intensive days of being together. Next. Yes. So as well as the those empowerment initiatives, such as empowering female clergy. The national church at the provincial office is also having other programs which are run under our various departments. We have the Department of Health that is working with different hospitals in our dioceses, one of them being Vumi Hospital, where they have been leading a program on the prevention of HIV from mother to child. Also, there is another program with Kilimatinde Hospital in the Diocese of Rift Valley. They are also doing the same with another mission hospital in the Diocese of Tanga. We also have education department. This is new department that has been set up to coordinate the work of our primary, secondary schools across the country, because there are some number of issues to do with the national coordination of educational services. And so there was a gap in terms of the link between the national government and our dioceses. So we are now having that new department that will be doing those coordinations. We also have a Christian education department which oversee the Christian education program, including theological education that is offered with or from our provincial theological institutions such as St. Philip's Theological College, St. Mark's, and a number of diocesan theological institutions that offer the same provincial curriculum. We also have a youth department which coordinates youth ministry and program in relation with the diocesan youth departments. And next. So in short, that is the number of the program, but also we have another new program which is now called the Church Commissioners. In fact, unlike other provinces, since we became the province in 1970, we've never had an investment company for the church. And we have now been able to register the church commissioners for the Anglican Church of Tanzania that will become a purely investment wing for the church, responsible for mobilizing, negotiation, and holding investment programs between the church and potential partners. And it will be in position to pursue a number of investment-driven activities. We also have a development services department within which there is also a church and community mobilization that has been going on with the dioceses. The Diocese of Central Tanganyika being one of the lead, but there is also Diocese of Biaramulo, the Diocese of Victoria, Nyanza, Shinyanga, Tabora, Diocese of Mount Kilimanjaro. They've all been doing church and community mobilization. Our development department has not been working for a number of years, but we thank God that he is now up again. And we have the first research project examining possible ways of how the church can engage in conflict transformation, especially among farmers and pastoralists in the three regions of Tanzania, namely Dodoma, Morogoro, and Manyara. But we also have Mothers Union, which is dealing with women and children across the province, and it is doing its work in collaboration with the Diocesan Desk for Women and Children. So in short, those are programs that are running under the Anglican Church of Tanzania, mainly from the head office. Next. Yes, this year we will be also having a capacity building and retreat for our bishops. This will be held in August, where bishops and their spouses will be having a 5-day time to reflect on their mission, consider what more we need to bring on board as a national church. How can we put our energy and resources together as we move forward? So that will also take place in August, and we thank God for the efforts and the ongoing preparations that has been put into that. And as you can see on that photo, you see the entire number of bishops. The General Secretary is there, and the Provincial Registrar is also on the other side. So that is entire number of bishops and General Secretary and the Provincial Registrar. Next.
Ken, and it might be good to wrap up at this point. And
yes,
there will be time for questions and discussion.
Yes, so I would like to appreciate all the partnerships that has been going on between the Anglican Church of Tanzania through its dioceses and different churches and dioceses in the US and elsewhere in the world. And we continue to focus our mission on leading people to God and empowering people to live life in its fullness. And I'm grateful once again for being part of this platform. And if there are any questions afterwards, I will be able to attempt. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all of our presenters for so much wonderful, sharing such wonderful stories of inspiration and inviting us into this realm. So I thank you. And Titus, I turn it over to you.
Thank you again. Thank you to all the presenters. And this is a good opportunity for questions and discussion. You've heard a lot from different points of view and different perspectives of different kinds of work that have been doing, that are happening in Tanzania. And thank you for staying on beyond the hour so we can have 10 or 15 minutes of discussion, questions that anyone would like to pose to our presenters. Would anyone have I have an opening question. And that is, we didn't hear anything about Christian-Muslim relations during the presentations. Tanzania is an unusual country in that there's major Christian and Muslim communities. And over the years, my sense is that there's been a lot of harmony, but it would be helpful if someone or several of you could characterize the current state of Muslim-Christian relations in Tanzania.
I don't know whether I can go ahead and then maybe Bishop Dixon can come afterwards. As far as the Christian-Muslim relations is concerned, we have mainly two dioceses that are heavily involved in Christian-Muslim relations. The Diocese of Kondoa, which is predominantly Muslim, Bishop GEMN has been working on that. And 2 months ago, they had Christian-Muslim conference that brought together all the clergy, and they invited former General Secretary of the Anglican Communion who came. And the Diocese of Zanzibar has also been doing quite a lot of work in terms of maintaining the balance and the relationship between Christian and Muslims. And even last week, the Archbishop and myself were there, and we had an opportunity to visit the Minister for Tourism and relationship. So this issue of maintaining the relationship between Christian and Muslims has been at the forefront of most of the dioceses as far as their mission is concerned. And it has not been mentioned because I think we were trying to keep our presentations very, very brief, but it is one of the key priority focus for mission in this country, and particularly those places that are having a high Muslim population. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bishop Dixon, would you have anything to add to that?
Bishop, you're on mute.
Yes, I think George has shared correctly, but a few years ago, the relationships were not very good between Muslims and Christians. But I think now, particularly in the past year, I think they've been made in Zanzibar, but also in Dar es Salaam. But bishops and imams coming together. So there are lots of discussions about peace between Muslims and Christians. So there's a lot of healing now. I would say that the relationships are not as negative as they used to be because we very much sit together and talk about peace.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Questions from anyone else in this gathering? Quite a few. Go ahead.
There's a question in the chat from Daniel. Or Daniel, would you like to ask your question? You're on mute, Daniel. Oh,
Daniel, or are you able to make yourself heard and get off mute?
Okay, the question, okay. the way it's written is the 3 new dioceses will be created in Tanga. That was, I don't know if that was the question or, yes, that's the question. Where will the 3 new dioceses be created? Ken and George or Bishop?
Yes, the 3 new dioceses will be created from 3 existing dioceses. They are not all coming from one diocese. So we are going to have the new diocese of Handeni that will be split from the diocese of Tanga. And the new diocese of Handeni will be taking 3 political districts of Kilindi, Handeni, and Pangani. And the diocese of Tanga will be remaining with the rest of the districts of Tanga region. The second new diocese will be carved from the existing diocese of Victoria Nyanza that was basically covering 2 regions of Mwanza and Geita. And the new diocese of Geita will now cover the entire geographical location of Geita region except 1 district of Sengerema that will remain under the diocese of Victoria Nyanza. The 3rd new diocese will be carved from the diocese of Tabora, which was basically covering also the whole of Tabora region and part of Shinyanga region. So the new diocese of Kahama will now cover part of Shinyanga region because we have a diocese of Shinyanga, but Kahama municipality and the other 2 districts will now formulate the new diocese of Kahama. So those are the 3 new dioceses that will be coming up this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Well, Brian, go ahead.
It's not really a question, more a comment to see how it's great to see so many faces from the time we spent with Carpenter's kids, particularly, and the people from St. Paul's, and the fact that all the people on all the speakers we're all doing the same thing in different ways. A lot of overlap in the purposes, and it's very reassuring for me belonging now more with the Development Trust to know that the institutions like the Deaf Matamulu Deaf School is getting a lot of support from the other supporters in the US, and particularly it's great to renew my acquaintance in the last few months with Robin, who I first met, I think, in 2011, when she was visiting as part of the support of the program. So I'm really pleased to see all these faces from the past. We're still strong. All the best.
That's the marvel of the mission community, isn't it? Thanks be to God. Any other questions or comments?
There's Busella put in the chat, I have no question, but to add from the bishop and Canon George's response is the relationship between Christians and Muslims is there, and we are working together. For instance, when you go into development initiatives and health facilities, you may experience the direct connection / link between the two.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Canon Robin, for hosting. Thank you, Bishop Dixon Chilangani, for being with us, and so many of your colleagues being with us. Thank you for the mission partners in the US and in the UK who have been with us. This has been a marvelous time together. Thank you for staying on beyond the hour. The next Mission Thursday will be on the 18th of June, which just happens to be the feast day of Bernard Mazeki, the first Anglican martyr in what is now Zimbabwe. So June 18th will be the next Mission Thursday, the topic to be announced. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Robin. May God bless you, and may we all continue to support the church in Tanzania. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.